Have you ever been on a vacation where you're expecting it to be super relaxing and then all of a sudden it gets frustrating and full of strife? Well, our video will teach you how you can have a marriage that is strengthened through God-centered vacations.
Hi, welcome to The Biblical Couple, where we go into family, marriage, and dating principles from a biblical perspective. Today we're talking about how to strengthen your Christian marriage through God-centered vacations. What really unifies a marriage is worship. If you think about it, really, back when God made Adam and Eve, He made them in His image. Genesis 1:26, God said, "Let us make man in our image according to our likeness." What does that specifically mean? That specifically means that God gave us personhood, which is our ability to have relationships, our morality, our emotions, our volitional will, all to be able to walk with Him and worship Him. And Adam and Eve are built in this image together to be able to worship Him together. And so from the very beginning, what really is at the root of Adam and Eve's relationship is their joint worship of God together. That it's not just this running away into the Garden of Eden where they're running away from God and that they find their greatest joy being apart from God and having a godless, thoughtless life, but it's going to God together. This joint unity of being able to be together, worshiping God together. And that's what gives vacations this awesome unity, is to make it so worshipful. I like to think about it from the perspective of the Sabbath, which is the seventh day of the week that the Israelites were commanded in Exodus 31, verses 13 to 17, for example. They were commanded on this seventh day to specifically rest. And a lot of times we think about rest in terms of mindlessness, but God thinks about rest in terms of mindfulness. What do I mean by that? In Exodus 31, verse 17, He says, "It is a sign, the Sabbath, between me and the sons of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, but on the seventh day He ceased from labor and was refreshed." And so the Israelites, on the seventh day, when they're having their rest, specifically, they have a dedicated time to be able to think about God and His creative works, the perfection of creation, and being able to long for that time again when the world would be perfected in His will. And so the rest for them really was being able to rest in God. And that's the foundation for us to have really great vacations, is to have them be first God-filled.
Yeah, so a few days ago when Sheng and I were at the beginning of our vacation, we were thinking, okay, what would make a vacation really sweet and God-centered and God-filled? The first thing that I was thinking of is just being in God's creation, looking at the sky, the trees that He has made, the mountains, and just being in awe of who He is. And secondly, is to be focused on God's faithfulness as well. If you are going on a vacation during Christmas or New Year's, typically people just kind of reflect on the past year, right? We like to reflect on the past year or even just the past month.
So sweet.
And he's actually born on Christmas Day, and so I'm sure there will be a lot of reflecting to do. But on our vacations, we like to reflect on God's faithfulness and what He has done in the past in our lives. And another aspect of having a God-filled vacation is to have God's Word at center stage. What kind of vacation would you have without God's Word being center stage, right? You're just thinking about, I don't know, what to have for breakfast, and you just kind of saunter on your way to have a hike and then, go to sleep and that's it, right? But no, making sure that you are centered on God's Word is just super important, especially when you have just a little bit of slower pace of the day, and just really taking advantage of that time that you have as a family, and just kind of having a slower pace of life, and just being really able to soak in God's Word.
Yeah, I really like the way that you're putting that, because that reminds me of how our family vacations are much like church retreats, if you think about it. The sweetest part of a church retreat is being able to be in God's Word constantly, and to be able to have Bible-centered fellowship, and to be able to just have good food, sharing in the good times together. And it's all the sweetest aspects of life highly concentrated in this one weekend, and that's what makes it so sweet. And so what Joanna's saying is having that same kind of mentality towards our vacations, where we're thinking, okay, this isn't an escape from our reality or from God, but it's a concentration of the sweetest parts of life.
Yeah.
which is God and His faithfulness and His word, and being just so filled with the goodness of God and the goodness of God's word. And so one of the beautiful things is just being able to have a slow morning, coffee in the morning, and to have God's word there. What's sweeter than that? Yep.
Another sweet aspect to take part in your vacations is just to be content. I know there are a lot of different things that can happen in a vacation: losing your luggage, getting lost, so on and so forth. The list goes on. A very important thing to make sure that you're focusing on as you go on vacation is just to be content with whatever the Lord brings to your vacation.
Yeah, I have a really good verse for that. James 4:13-15. Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a city and spend a year there and engage in business and make a profit. Yet you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. You are just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and also do this or that. So I'm really liking what you're saying. Yeah, because in vacation planning, who hasn't gone off the deep end and just gotten so stressed about the logistics? Like, okay, we need to schedule at 2 o'clock, we are eating lunch at this location, and then at 2:08, we're gonna go to the gelato place. Yeah, I know, it's only 8 minutes to eat, but we have to be able to catch the car at 3 o'clock sharp so that we can go see that certain attraction. And just getting so riled up and stressed about everything instead of just rolling with the punches and saying, hey, if God wills for us to go there, then we'll go there. That's our plan, but hey, the Lord may establish our steps a certain way, and just being able to have fun along the way of like, hey, this was unexpected, but this was God's will. And so we're just gonna relax into it as opposed to getting so tense and making that vacation so full of stress.
Yeah, another verse I was thinking about actually in the beginning of our vacation was Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and He will make your paths straight. And I was just thinking about how there are a lot of things that were going wrong according to my estimation, or just out of control really. That portion in verse 6 talks about how God will make my path straight. I am not the one who is creating my steps. I may think that the day will go a certain way, but God is really the one who is straightening my path. I was maybe crooked in this one area of the day, but He is just straightening back me onto the path that He wants me to be on.
Amazing. So a God-filled vacation and a content vacation. Yeah, it's already so relaxing. And the third element that is the cherry on top is having a people-focused vacation. A people-focused vacation. Yeah. Proverbs 15:17. Better is a dish of vegetables where love is than a fattened ox served with hatred. What's really crazy is that many people look at vacations just thinking about them in terms of the experiences. I need to have the fattened ox. Who doesn't want, a strip of Wagyu steak or whatever you call it? Who doesn't want, the lamb shank, going over to New Zealand and just, chopping that lamb down and tearing it to pieces?
We did go to New Zealand and have a lamb
and
shank.
sinking your teeth into it. And so many times our vacations are experience centered, where all we're trying to think about is, let me get that Yelp 5-star food or that Michelin 3-star food. And let me just experience all of these things that I've seen on the gram and put myself on the gram. And so I could be able to say that I did this experience and check it off my bucket list. But what's so cool about this verse here is it's saying, look, it doesn't matter if you're eating vegetables or the fattened ox. What really matters is where the love is. Not the hatred, not the strife. It's the people that matters. It's a people-focused vacation that makes it so sweet, right? It's not just about doing and seeing all those things. All of those things are mediums and avenues for us to build meaningful relationships, to be able to go on that hike. And honestly, some of the things that we can see are pretty ugly, right? Maybe not all of us can go to see the Matterhorn. Maybe not all of us can go over to Banff and see the Emerald Lakes. Maybe, we're just stuck going to the Brown Hills of Los Angeles and we're just walking around, right? And at the same time, there's such a simple beauty of being able to say, hey, we're enjoying this together. The sun's beating down on us. We're sweating bullets right here, but hey, these are our bullets that we're sweating, and we're just getting drenched and so nasty together as a family, right? And that's a memory that is always going to last to the end of your life, and something that you will really cherish, and just sweet family time. To have it be God-filled, full of contentment with whatever God brings, and to be people focused. That's what makes a vacation really strong, and that's what makes a vacation unifying and strengthening to the marriage. To be able to come out of it saying, hey, we grew in our love for God, we ran with whatever He gave us, and those memories that He gave us are even better than what we planned for, and to be able to say that we grew closer and we know each other better as friends and as a family and in our marriage. So, what is one of your favorite vacation memories? Why don't you put it down in the comments section below. Let us know what your favorite vacation memory is and how it was God-filled, full of contentment, and people-focused. And if you want to learn and grow more, our church, RGC in San Diego, has a Rock Solid Marriage Fellowship. It happens at 3 to 5 p.m. on the first and third Sunday of the month. The information's on this flyer right here. Just email us and let us know if you want to come. We would love to see you. Click like and subscribe if you want to get more biblical content on how to strengthen your marriage. In the meantime, be thinking about the Lord, love your spouse, and have an amazing rest of your day.
Another thing that we love to do.